welcome to NkanEyes Podcast. I'm your host, Nkanai, Cynthia, and Kaarriibbuunniiiii. So if you're new to the podcast, Kaarriibbu to the family. We hope you will stay, we hope you'll enjoy, and we hope you learn a thing or two. If you're coming back from listening to other podcast episodes, na umenizoea sauti yangu. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the love and the support that you guys give this platform. So it's been a minute since we recorded an episode. I think since last year, October, November, but we are back, and right now we're being managed by VoicePoint. VoicePoint is a podcast management company that basically takes on podcasts, and they do the recording for you, they do the videography for you, the editing for you, basically everything, and then you pay a specific amount according to the plan that you want. So be sure to check them out. I will leave their contacts in the description box below. So yes, we are back and we are on YouTube. For those of you who are listening to me on podcasting platforms, on YouTube, so don't forget to check us out on YouTube. So now we are going to start off with another series called Insecure. For those of you who did not tune into Insecure Season 1, please make sure you do so that you catch up, so that you basically understand what it is we are talking about. And this is Insecure Season 2. So in Season 2, we're going to have 5 episodes with different guests. Na kama kawaida, I am the first story that you're going to listen to. So yeah, I am going to talk about my insecurities with my body. So for those of you who don't know, for the longest time, I was insecure about how my body was, basically. I was really underweight when I was in high school and even sometime before high school. So let me take it back, Kiasi. So when I was younger, I've just always been small physically. I have been smaller than most of my peers, which was normal for me, but not normal for like everyone else, you get. So yeah, I remember in primary school, my mom just complaining, "Hey Cynthia, like kula a bit more." My relatives, the aunties. Yeah, so my aunties used to complain, "Hey Cynthia, haujanona, hauna two hips." Like vitu kama hizo. Even like next to my peers, I feel like I am a late bloomer physically, if you know what I mean. Like my hips came in baadaye and my boobs came in a bit later and everything. So yeah, when I finished primary school, I think in 2013, then joined high school, I was still skinny. So now going into high school, I went to a mixed school. I went to Kabarak. So in a mixed school, kumbuka, you are there with guys and you're there with chicks. And then I think at that point in time is when you get to realize that you are kidogo different. Like, oh yeah, my body is like this, another person's body is like this, and like it's very distinct and it's very clear. So yeah, there was that. So in Form 1, I really didn't care. Let's say that. Like I really didn't notice that I was skinny and everything. Like it was there, but it wasn't screaming. It wasn't a screaming insecurity. Then kidogo, I started gaining weight. Yeah, I think it was in 2014, around August. Yeah, around that time. So I started gaining weight. I remember it was after a music festival we went to. So when we came back, hey, kidogo ninajaza skirts, kidogo I have 2 counts and everything. So I was feeling really cute and really like confident. You get how you associate who you are as a person to like how your physical body looks like. So I was feeling nice and cute and everything. Alafu now people used to talk about it. So it was, like Nkanai, NkanEyes and everything. Yeah, we had that. So yeah, I used to feel really nice. And then now fast forward to Form 2 in 2015. So in 2015, for some reason, I remember that was one of my longest years, like ever. At a nikikumbuka, I'm just tired. it was a really tough year. So I think that's the year that I went through depression. That's the year that I went through so much. Like school was hard. At home, things were hard. My parents, schoolwork, my friends. I was getting into another relationship, which we'll talk about in another episode. But yeah, like times were hard. So yeah, nikaanza kucut weight. And I cut significant amount of weight. Ile ya, like anajaza skirt this week, and next week you can literally see that I have gone flat. So when that started happening, now people started noticing. I remember, I won't mention names, but I remember person X that I was sitting with, who was my deskmate, and he was a guy, like told me, na siku hizi kahaga kamepotea. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. And kumbukeni, I have really associated who I am as a person to how I look physically. So that was, okay, so I've started losing weight. Now, for those of you who went to Kabarak, know that we used to have this thing where many girls used to wear their hoodies, their jumpers, like throughout the day, like no matter what, ata kama kuna jua, ata kama kuna, like no matter what, you wear your jumper. Why? Because if you walk around like in the corridors and you're with someone else, na yeye amebeba, na wewe hujabeba, people are going to inevitably compare the two of you. So I remember at that point in time is when sasa nikaanza kuvaa jumper. Guy, like nilikuwa nina sweat. It was at like no matter the weather. So that was me in my jumper. Now kidogo it started now getting to me and getting like to my mind that Cynthia, now you are a skinny girl. Like you've been categorized as a skinny person. Yeah. Then now moving kidogo now to Form 3. In Form 3, I think that's the year that my body insecurities like really screamed. Like screamed a word. Well, but yeah, really scream. Let's say that. Yeah, my body insecurities like really like were shouting. It's really causing a shout. Mimi and my best friend. For those of you who don't know her, she's called Kate. We've done several podcast episodes together. So yeah, I remember like the two of us just talking about how we are really skinny, like compared to other girls in our class. And Sasa, there's this girl in our class, Nasita, but for those of you who know her, yeah, you know her, but I'll call her Person Y. So Person Y used to have this thing where she was a curvy girl, let's say that. So if a skinny girl, like atoke a class, she'd talk a class after her. So at sasa wewe umevaa jumper, alafu yeye hajavaa jumper. So now you know how people start whistling and everything. So you can imagine the middle of class, umetoka tu like kwenda choo. You're going to the toilet, then now people start whistling, kiasi. Now another girl talks after you and people are screaming, hey. Like it was just, you guys, it was a lot of nonsense, but it used to get to me so much. I can't even. I remember at this point in time, our deputy principal at that time, I think it was during midterm, kitu kama hiyo. So I was going home and then sasa akanisimamisha, then she calls me aside. Then she says, Nkanai, uko na ugonjwa? Then I'm like, what do you mean niko na ugonjwa? Then she asks, no, umekat weight sana. Uko na ugonjwa? Then I'm like me don't understand what she means by uko na ugonjwa. Then I tell her, no, me I'm not sick. Like why are you asking? And then she says, ni ukimwi. And she was not playing. Like it wasn't she's joking, uko na ukimwi, ha. Like she was actually seriously concerned. Nkanai, do you have AIDS? And I'm like, what? And I remember at a point in time, like that, what was in my mind was, okay, is this the only thing that people see me as? Like, ukiniona, do you prejudge me as this girl is really skinny and she has AIDS? You know, like for a teacher to actually come to you and ask you if you are sick and if you need to go to the sanatorium to get ARVs, then, well, you know. Yeah, so I remember going home and crying so much. Like Like, I just remember really crying and just asking myself, like, what do I have to do now? Na nakumbuka, you guys, I ate. Like, thing is, the problem wasn't even food, because me, I eat. Like, see, I had any eating disorder, I did not. Me, I eat. If you meet me, if you know me, I really eat. But I remember at a point in time, like, nearly eka so much more effort when I went for the holidays. So, unajua hizi videos za sijui clothing, for those of you who know her, sijui exercise to sijui have bigger glutes, exercise sijui to make your calves sijui appear, yeah, all those. There's nothing I did not do for that period. And yeah, now Form 4 ikapita, and now straight to after high school. So after high school, thing is, I feel like as a society, like we just have that thing in mind. Like, I do not know why it's so important for people to tell you, like to talk about your weight when they meet you. Like, mtu anakumit, oh yeah, uko na 2 hips. Umekanda. Like, it's just really tiring. Let's say that. So after high school, still, I went to Goethe. For those of you who know Goethe, it's a German institute in Nairobi. So I went to Goethe. And in Goethe, I was in class. Like Mimi, kumbuka, I don't know these people. These people don't know me. We are all strangers. Tumekutana hapo to do what? To interact and to learn German. So I'm there, and then after class, a girl approaches me. Then I'm like, okay, all right, what do you want, madam? Do you want to be friends or something? Then she comes, and then she says, unajua hii syrup inaitwa apetamin. I'm like, okay, here we go again with the same story. Then I tell her, no, sijui here set up. Then she says, inaitwa apetamin, kuna this WhatsApp group that you can join, and like unaweza nunua the syrup, ukunywe, pia kuna tablets, zinakusaidia like gain weight, nini. And I'm like, okay, like what is it that you guys are seeing that I'm not? Like, sina shida, guys. Thing is, like, I do not have a problem. Like, why is everyone just coming to tell me about my weight? And I remember that point in time thinking, okay, if a stranger looks at me and what comes to their mind directly is, let me approach this person and let me tell them about this syrup that they can buy to gain weight, then there's something really, really wrong with me. And I remember at that point in time, like, ata nikacha, like, could dress up. In 2018, I didn't used to dress up. I was like, it's fine. I didn't make my hair. Like, I just used to wear blur. Like, nilikuwa tunaka venye ninataka. Let's see that. And then in that year, in March, I started a movement called This Is Me. So basically, it's a community-based organization that makes someone accept themselves. Like, the vision behind it is for someone to say, this is me, with no fear and with no shame. So we go for our first project. Kumbuka, umesikia the name, This Is Me. So someone is supposed to like come and comfortably say, this is me. So we go for our project now in March, and the project was about like having a fun day with a school called Ruda Educational Center. So we go for the fun day, we have fun with the kids, nini. So si mnajua tu after hizo ma project, you have to take a photo. So we stand sasa in line to take a photo. And I remember a guy saying, watu wa Konde wasimame huko mwisho na watu wa Nono wasimame huko mwisho. And I'm like, okay, it beats the purpose of the organization being called This Is Me if you're going to like put out that as, you know, watu wa Konde huku na watu wa Nono huku. I'm like, okay, like watu tuwasimame venye wanataka. So guys this side and girls this side. So nikasimama katikati because I was the founder of the movement. Nikasimama katikati, picha zikapigwa kidogo jioni, zikatumwa kwa WhatsApp. You guys, simwambia nilikuwa nimesimama hapo katikati. Like, I think I'll even insert that photo in this video. You guys, I felt like I looked like a stick there. Like, it was people and then Mimi, like hapo katikati. And I remember looking at myself. Alafu kumbuka when people constantly tell you something like, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you and like subconsciously it becomes part of who you are na inakuingia kwa akili. So I remember looking at myself and like I could tell my legs apart because I have a thigh gap, so one of my leg was on this side and the other was on this side, and like I just felt like a stick. And I remember crying, like, you guys, I remember crying because I was like, guy, hivi ndio ninakanga, oh my god, like it looks so bad. And no, when people are sending photos, like I remember like just asking sasa my friends, okay, like kwani nakanga vibaya, like is this how I look, like how comes I'm not as curvy as other people? And the girl who was standing next to me is really curvy. So I remember like asking myself, okay, if people look at this photo, the first thing that wanaona ni that Nkanai amesimama hapa na anakaa hivi na this other person amesimama hapa kando yake na akona hips, you know. So yeah, like that was a major struggle for me in that year. But I remember just coming, like now sitting down with myself and looking at myself, like who I was as a person, and just telling myself that, as in, okay, surely Cynthia, okay, mtu akiangalia hii picture, do you think that the first thing that will come to their mind will be compare this to Amma who started this whole ass organization? You know, like there's more to you than that which meets the eye. Like mtu akikuona kitu ya kwanza yeye afikirie, okay, msichana ni mkonde sana, akona ukimwi, ona amesimama kando ya mwenye akona hips. That would be so dumb of them, because why don't they think, okay, this girl is standing here, wow, she came up with this whole organization, wow, it's such a beautiful concept and everything. So yeah, I remember just telling, like giving now myself that as in it's okay for me to be the size that I am, and I do not have to struggle with that, because I think the more you just put it in your mind and you're like, yeah, I am this size, I am this weight and everything, it just eats you up and it consumes a lot of time, especially when you're in a social situation. You just inevitably start comparing yourself to other people. So yeah, I remember in 2018, I think is the year that I came to terms with the fact that like my body is the way it is. So long as I am eating healthy, so long as I am exercising, so long as I am doing the best that I can, then it's literally fine to be the way that I was. And now fast forward to 2019 and 2020 is when I started now gaining some weight. And funny thing is, when you start gaining weight or when you start losing weight, depending on who you are as a person, pia sasa there's some identity crisis that comes with it. Once again, as in it is, okay, I have been longing for weight gain, then kiasi I'm gaining weight, and it is, okay, I no longer recognize the person that is in the mirror. So you start wondering, okay, now who is this person that I'm looking at? Because I remember when I started now gaining weight and my like two cheeks started having two nyamas, and you know, like nilikuwa najiangalia and I'm like, okay, who is that in the mirror? Na pia sasa having a whole other identity crisis. But what I personally decided to do was not to associate my physicality with who I am as a person. As much as, yes, the society that we are in right now, like who you are physically is directly related to who people view you as and everything. I personally decided that like I am a soul in this vessel. Like this body just carries me around, and who I am, I think on the inside, matters way more than like whatever it is that people see, like who I am when people meet me, or what the scale sees that I am this kgs and I am that kgs and everything. So yeah, basically that's how I sort of fought with my body insecurities and tried to like get over them and everything. Yes. So where I am right now, like of course I have those days where it is okay, yeah, like nitakuwaje and everything, but I calm myself down. I tell myself, okay, Cynthia, baby girl, we are good. Like, so long as you're eating healthy, so long as you're exercising, so long as you're doing the best that you can, then your insecurities do not have to scream at you. You don't have to give them that much power. And I know it's easier said than done for most people. Like, it sounds really theoretical than practical. But when you come to terms with who you are as a person, like, you realize, okay, I'm a beautiful human being. In all honesty, I am kind. I treat people nicely. I am good vibes. Napenda sherehe. Like, there is more to me than just how I am physically. Then, yeah, it's such a beautiful and liberating feeling. So yeah, that's how I dealt with my insecurities, and I hope that for some reason this episode inspires you to look at your insecurities and to sort of deal with them, or to like look at them in the eyes and tell them, okay, yeah, I am insecure about this and that, but I'm not going to give you too much power, because if you give your insecurities too much power, then it ends up draining you. So yeah, guys, basically that's it for my personal story. Yeah, so guys, as I have told you, this episode has been brought to you by VoicePoint, which is a podcast management company. If you are a podcaster out there and you feel like you do not know like how to start a podcast, you want to start from scratch, then check them out on Instagram. They're really good, extremely professional, and their services are really amazing, and they're also really affordable. And this episode is in partnership with Chez Sonia Wine Lovers. Chez Sonia Wine Lovers is a restaurant that is in Westie that has really amazing food. The staff is really good, and the ambience, you guys, let me just tell you, you feel rich when you're here. Let's say that. Like, you feel cool, you feel rich, and you feel like you really relax. So also check them out. For sponsorships and partnerships, please reach out to me. My email address will be on the description box below. I have been waiting to see that. Let me just say that. Like, I have been waiting to see that. Yes, for partnerships and or sponsorships, please email me at NkanEyesCynthia13@gmail.com. It will be on the description box below. If you have enjoyed this podcast episode, please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, please make sure you check the podcast episode next week on Monday, same day, same time. Basically, if you have learned something, or if you've picked something from this podcast episode, just DM us whatever it is you have learned. Alafu tutaandika kwa our sticky note, and maybe your quote will be put on our Instagram page. Otherwise, it is really amazing being back on air, and the interaction. Kila kitu. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.